Alhamdulillah, we have reached another Friday, Alhamdulillah. We should also Alhamdulillah. Because there are many who were with us last week, who are not here with us this week. There are many who were upon Iman last week, who are not upon Iman last week. And there are also many who are not upon Iman last week, who are upon Iman last week. And for every scenario, ala kulli hal, Alhamdulillah. One of the blessings that we have in this life is life itself. The fact that we are able to spend the time to serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and go up in His ranks. And one of the other blessings of this life is one of the greatest joys of life for every man or woman. It is the blessing of children. Alhamdulillah, for all of us who have children and for all of us who don't have children. Because inshallah one day we will have children, inshallah. And for those of us who do have children, what is our duty? What is our responsibility? This is the topic of today's khutbah, bayan, and also khutbah later, inshallah. For those of us who have children, we know how great of a blessing it is. For those of us who have younger siblings, we know how great of a blessing it is. But what do we do to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to show our gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this great blessing, for this great bounty, for this great joy? When we are given a gift, the way we show our gratitude is by using it in the means or in the way that it was supposed to be used, or put in the place where it's supposed to be put. If we start misusing and misappropriating things, then we're not truly showing it gratitude. We're not truly showing gratitude for that gift. And the best way to show gratitude for our children, for our younger siblings, for our nephews and nieces, is to give them a good tarbiyah, a good upbringing. And that is the best way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu, qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. O you who believe, save yourselves and your families. That is our number one priority. And the best way to save ourselves and our families is through good tarbiyah, through good upbringing. And the best of upbringing is the example set by Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. If we look into his life, how was he with his children? Was he harsh? Or was he positive? Was he light-hearted? Was he stern and strict continuously? Was he aggressive? Or was he kind-hearted and compassionate? We need to look into this. We need to read into this. It is mentioned that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he once kissed a child, one of his grandchildren. And one of the Bedouins, he asked him, Ya Rasulullah, do you kiss your children? Do you kiss your grandchildren? And Rasulullah, I believe he said that, do you not? أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Do you not do it? He said, we do not do it. We do not kiss our children. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the nearest meaning, he said that, what should I do if mercy has been taken away from your hearts? What should we do? What should I do if mercy has been taken away from you? So he shows us that the prophetic way, the sunnah way of raising our children is through mercy, through compassion. One of the biggest things that puts our children off deen, one of the biggest things that puts our children away from their parents, from their siblings, from their family, is the fact that many a times, as a community and also as parents, as older siblings, we become too harsh with them. And this is first and foremost a reminder for myself and for everyone here. We need to understand. We need to look back at the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He revealed the Quran through a lens of mercy as well. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Ar-Rahmanu 'allama al-Quran. The most merciful revealed the Quran. He taught the Quran. So if the most merciful taught the Quran, it means that it should be taught and it should be lived through a lens of mercy, not through a lens of harshness. Yes, it may be that at times a bit of harshness is required, a bit of tough love is required, but even that is from mercy. The underlying theme should be mercy. That when we are with our children, we should always think, what do we need at this time? If we were in their shoes, what would we need in this time? Do we need someone to mollycoddle us? Do we need someone to pamper us? Or do we need someone to be a bit more firm and disciplining? Mercy in Islam is not one where it is simply, just being nice. It's not simply that. Yes, mercy in the heart, but mercy has to be shown in different ways. Sometimes mercy can be telling your child to pray and forcing them to wake up at Fajr time. That is mercy. It may be that your child does not want to wake up, but if you could see the fire that is waiting for them, you would drag them awake. Let me ask all of you now, if you knew right now that in your house there was a fire had gone off, may Allah save us all from this, that a fire had started and your child was in danger, would you care if they were sleeping? Would you care? Would we care if they were sleeping? I doubt it. We would do everything in our power. Even if they were in a coma, we would force them awake somehow. We would drag them out. Now that is the example of the one who has children who are not praying Fajr, who are not waking up for Fajr, or who are not praying at all. That they're going towards the fire, but what do we do? They'll get up afterwards. But how can we expect them to pray if we don't give it priority, if we don't give them a push? Children by their nature, they absorb what is around them. If we don't give them that priority, that disciplining, okay, you need to pray this time, they will not do it. Unless they see you doing it, which is even better. Which now moves me on to my next point. One is just telling them, but the best way is to show them. There's an example, there's a story, a short story of a man and his son. They're walking down a road that has a lot of potholes. As they're walking, the father tells his son, "Oh my son, be careful where you step, or you may hurt yourself. You may fall over." The son says, "Oh my father, you watch where you step, for indeed where you step, I will step." What does this show us? What does this tell us? That what we do is what our children will do. We recite Quran, our children will recite Quran. We go to the masjid, our children will go to the masjid. We fast, our children will fast. We have a pleasant countenance, our children will have a pleasant countenance. If we're continuously grouchy and antisocial, likewise, unfortunately, that's how our children will be. So, if you want your children to be good, if you want your children to be positive-minded, if you want your children to be praying on time, fasting on time, giving charity, being charitable, being generous, then you have to lead the way. You have to show them. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُغَيِّرُ مَا بِقَوْمٍ حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ. Indeed, Allah does not change the situation of a people until they change themselves. So if you want your children to be good, then you better be good. Be the change you want to see. And that starts with your family, that starts primarily with your children. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us all the understanding, to understand what has been said and act upon it. And just quickly, before I finish off, there's just one last minute. One of the things that we need to make sure that we always do. Yes, all the other steps that I've mentioned, telling them and showing them. But the biggest thing of all is dua. Because even the Anbiya alayhimus salam, they were not, free from dua. They could not become, they could not sustain themselves without dua. They needed dua. They were dependent on dua. So if the Anbiya alayhimus salam, the Sahaba, radiyallahu anhum ajma'een, if they were relying on dua, if they needed dua, then we also need our dua. We also need dua. Otherwise, without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, without His mercy and His grace, we can never do anything. So primarily, the very first thing that we should all do, every night, if possible, if not possible every night, every second night, if not possible every second night, once a week at least, or once a month at least, stand in the night, cry to Allah. Because indeed, if you look outside, and I'm sure we're all aware, there are a lot of things trying to take our children's iman away, trying to take them away from deen, taking them away from us as families. The first thing that we need to do is turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have to turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask for His help. And thereafter, the steps that I mentioned, that first of all, that you show through your character, through your behavior, through your actions. Your children will see, inshallah. They will imitate you. And thereafter, if they still do not listen, sometimes give them a little push. Tell them, this is what you need to do. Or my son, my daughter, this is what you have to do. These are the repercussions. Don't mollycoddle them by not telling them about the punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, tell them about the punishment of Allah, but also tell them about the rewards of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A believer should be between hope and fear. Instill this in your children. And you will see that when you get older, if you raise them in Allah's path, then they will take care of you when you are older. So even if, not for Allah's sake, even if for your own selfish reasons, still take care of them. Because indeed, if you make sure that they are on Allah's path, Allah will make sure that they take care of you at least. That's the minimum. But obviously, the biggest thing is we do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if some of us don't have it in our hearts, or our iman is not strong enough, still think there's still benefit for you. Even from a material standpoint, from a dunyawi standpoint, there's still benefit. Put them on Allah's path, insha'Allah, they will take care of you as well. And Allah will take care of you as well. And Allah through them will bring you back to the deen as well. Many of us, we may not be on the deen fully. We may not have learned the Quran, the Hadith, the Sunnah when we were younger. But when we have children, they push us to learn the deen. And that is the most beautiful thing of all. That is the most beautiful relationship that we can have with our children. The relationship that pushes us back to deen. That pushes us, that turns us back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah grant us all children who turn us back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and keep us steadfast upon the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.